Hey friend, it is Lacie Jaye, and I am here as your host on Hey Lacie Jaye, the podcast. Gosh, it's so fun being able to say that. Anyways, today's episode is one that I recorded when I thought for sure my podcast was going to stay Her Life Out Loud and I was just going to, launch it for the 15th time until I just had the download that it was time to start fresh and that Her Life Out Loud will become a name for something else, if you know what I mean. Holding that, putting that in my back pocket. But the message that I shared is so much of the Hey Lacie Jaye brand, the coaching, the products that I'm putting out there. And so I hope that you enjoy today's episode talking about the heart behind Her Life Out Loud. Well, I am sitting down in a closet and I just had this overwhelming feeling come over me as I am journaling, which is just a huge part of my practice each morning. I feel like that's where I'm so connected and get downloads. And I just had this reminder of a vision that I had 10 years ago. Mind you, right now I'm about to relaunch my Her Life Out Loud podcast. I'm relaunching a website. I am in a season where I'm fucking going for it. And I am doing it, and I'm doing it in a way that feels in alignment to me instead of constantly questioning and asking, like, what should I be doing? How should I run my business? How does this look? And instead, I'm going inwards and I'm going within and I'm taking time to understand my design within human design and taking time to get quiet and hear the direction that I'm meant to go because a few things. I had this vision of Her Life Out Loud 10 years ago, and I was up on a cloud. I don't know if I had gone to heaven or what, but I was up on a cloud looking down at all of the lives that I had impacted. And when I tell you the amount of lives I've impacted, it was hundreds of thousands of people. And instead of feeling excited about this vision, I was excited at first, and I remember the morning that I woke up and had the vision put on my heart and the Her Life Out Loud put on my heart, and I knew that it was going to impact people. But when I had that, there was also this other side, and it felt selfish and it felt wrong. And I do believe that that kind of came from where I was in the church, in the background of church, that how could I be someone that impacts that many people? I'm just a woman, first of all. What am I doing with my life? Like, I was afraid to share the vision with certain people because it just didn't feel like that could be something that I could do. I guarantee part of it was this conditioning that I'm only meant to be a mom. I've put all my dreams on the back burner. Yes, this lights my soul on fire, but we're going to also put it in a box and let it be in the back. And it also comes from a self-worth, which self-worth comes from a lot of things, but for me personally, I know that part of my self-worth really does come from the church and issues that I had within there, things that had gone on, not believing in myself. It was always kind of this weird thing of, this is what I'm feeling, this is who I am, and this pull of, well, this is who you are, this is who you've been told that you are. And I believe that that is something that can happen within churches and just society in general and in this world, because this is who we are at the core, this beautiful, perfect design. And then this is who people tell you to be. And over time, we get all of this conditioning and we get all of this and told who we are, words spoken over us, things said to us. We're really told to go outside of ourselves to understand who we are. Anyways, I think that's where I'm so grateful that human design has become a part of my life, which is super funny because I I also struggled with that a lot, and it's because it teaches you to go within, and I didn't trust that voice within me. I didn't trust my intuition because I had been constantly questioned, is that from God or is that from Satan? And so I have been at war and at constant like battle with myself from a very young age because I feel like I am very intuitive. I have these visions and these moments that are very clear and spoken to me. And yet, when I don't trust that, it's like my life falls into complete chaos. And I have been on just the longest journey figuring that out. But as I follow that and I listen to that closely, I've had some of the most powerful conversations and women chatting with me and sending stuff in their inbox, and like life literally feels insane and like I'm high on life. And so while I think that as I've had this vision 10 years ago of her life out loud and seeing the impact that I will have in some capacity on all of these hundreds of thousands of people, it's also that part of my journey I had to go on. I had to really push hard and go through life the last 10 years. I had to walk through it and physically go through and learn and fall on my face and lose friends and go within and have faith shattering moments and having everything that I believed in completely shatter so that I could get back to who I was designed to be, who I was created to be, who I believe that God said, hey, this is actually who you are. And you don't have to build yourself to this 2.0. You get to just be you. Isn't that so freaking like cool? This idea of like, this is who you are. And you can rise up as you decondition from the world, as you cut away the things that are not serving you or that are holding you back from who you were created to be. And so to have that kind of impact in my life means that I had to walk through a lot of life. And I've always had this thing with Her Life Out Loud, and it's that I will share my story. And I know that when I share my story, I hope that it helps one other person not feel so alone. And so, in one way, if I had this perfect, easygoing life and it was just so beautiful and so awesome, like, yeah, you can have impact. And I'm not saying that you can't, but for me personally, of course, I had to walk through the fire. Of course, I've had to walk through the failures. Of course, I've had to walk through the depression and the life flights and the miscarriages and the, like, as I look back, of course I walked through that because I'm going to be willing to share the story and stand in the deepest, darkest moments with someone saying, I might not be going exactly what you're going through, but I know what you're going through. And I can hold their hand and lift them up and say, I'm here for you. You are not alone. You are not alone in this darkness. You're not alone in this life. And, that's so powerful. That alone is so powerful because if you know that you're not alone, have you ever been in a moment in your life? Maybe think back to it for a moment where something may have happened and you felt so alone. You have no one to talk to because no one will understand, right? So you live in this darkness. You live in this, I'm by myself. And really what starts to happen? this darkness just gets bigger and bigger and takes over your life, and you're thinking about it, and it keeps saying, well, no one else will understand. No one else will get will get it. So just keep it into yourself. Just keep it by yourself. Yep, and you get isolated. When we feel like no one else can understand, we isolate ourselves. And the beauty of the vision that I have for Her Life Out Loud of saying, you know what, I'm willing to share my story so that one other person does not feel alone, is that I'm willing to share the story. And I'm willing to be the light that says, hey, I see you. And what happens when that light shines in the darkness? Like, I'm in a dark closet right now because it's early in the morning and I'm inspired to share this podcast. And I have this little book light, right? And it takes away the darkness way more than I would ever imagine how much it actually starts shining. And I believe that I'm here to shine the light on the darkness. Like, no, you're not having this hold on myself or this other person. I'm going to be the light. I'm going to shine the light and say, you are not alone. And that darkness cannot survive. It cannot have that strong hold within your mind, because that's what happens when we feel like we're by ourselves and no one's here. No one understands what I'm going through. That will start to mess up your thoughts. And that is where deep, dark things happen, when people feel like no one else can understand. And so when you shine that light, it no longer has the power over you, because you can see. You can see what it is, that it actually is just either an event that happened, and yes, it can be a big event that, you know, it's like, hey, let's shine the light on this. Let's get you into therapy. Let's get you help. Or it could be that as a mom, you totally freaking suck because one event happened and that just eats you alive. And other moms are like, girl, it does suck, but you are not alone. Come here. Let me hold you. Let me hug you. Let me pull you out of this hole that you have dug yourself in, thinking the shame and the guilt, and you're digging a hole. Like, you're just digging it deeper because of the shame and the guilt, and you're like, I'm literally digging the hole to bury myself because I suck. I mean, that's what the darkness does. And so I'm going to be the light. I'm going to shine the light. I'm going to share what I can share because of what I have walked through. And I feel like I have walked through a lot in the 34 years of my life. And let me tell you, I am like, why am I going through this? Like, there were years where I'm like, what the frick is happening? Like, why am I going through this? And I don't know where I'm at in my journey, but I can tell you my path has gotten a lot clearer. And after walking through a lot of life and feeling like, you know what? I do have some wisdom under my belt. I do have some real life in my toolbox. Things are starting to shift in my life. And as I've dug into human design and going within and really saying, hey, who am I at the core? What am I here to do? That vision of standing on the cloud, creating massive impact, which is maybe a handful of people that the ripple effect starts in. I drop the rock in, and it's, you know, I had impact on a certain amount of people who have impact and impact and impact, and that's how life happens. That's that ripple effect. I love the idea of the ripple effect. It's absolutely incredible and such a beautiful representation of what happens. And so what happens when you truly become who you are? You stop living life as shoulds and people pleasing. Is that you create an impact. You become this light. You become this, you start radiating, you're shining, and people are like, what is going on with her? Because you are showing up fully. You are stepping into who you are. And now even that stepping, guys, it comes with shedding, which means it's gonna be uncomfortable. There are things you're going to have to like also walk through, to let go, to cut away, so that you can become the OG of who you are. So that you can use your voice, so that you can use your gifts, so that you can show up in the OG way. Not the 2.0 version, none of that crap. We're not building ourselves to who we think we are. No, we are flowing. We are stepping into that calling or that desire or the gift or the business. I don't know what it is in your life. You do. And you know where it is. It's hidden somewhere in there that maybe has been buried for years, or maybe you're like, I know exactly what it is. Because for 10 years, I'd be trying a new business and I'm trying that and I'm going to do this. And the reality is, none of those things really worked the way they were supposed to, because I knew if someone would ask me, Lacie, what are you here to do? And it's like, oh, her life out loud. I just don't know what that is yet. I don't know how to make that happen. I'm sharing this because I believe that somebody is meant to hear this story or this podcast, that is going to light a fire inside of you. And by the fire, it might be one tiny freaking spark that starts smoldering for a minute, and you're kind of feeling this heat. You're like, okay, there's something shifting in me. And some of you might be like ablaze and running so hard after, because you knew it. You just needed that, like, that fire to be lit underneath you to remind you who the F you are, so you can go hard after that. And some, it might be more of a subtle, this might be the beginning for you of this spark that is going to start, warming up. And what does that spark do when it catches a fire on? Well, it gets a little bigger. And the more you kind of work towards that, putting kindling on it, the bigger that spark gets. And now you have a little flame. And as you tend to that little flame and that fire, and you're like, whoa, that little bit of fire is so warm. I love this. This feels so good. And you tend to it and you add a couple logs, not that it puts it out, but just enough that's like, hey, I'm gonna make you a little bit bigger, right? What happens? Your fire grows. And then you add some big friggin' logs to it. And bigger and bigger and bigger, and all of a sudden you have a bonfire. And what does that do? You're radiating. Your energy is so big. You are so on fire that people are like, who are you? I don't know why, but like, you're bright and shiny and your energy is big. I've been really sitting with, what do I want to put out into the world? What does this look like? And I'm realizing that the first step, at least what I have gone through at the end of my journey, to realize, oh, okay, if I were to create a framework for someone, and that's my business mindset, that's my like logical mindset that comes online. It's going within. It's understanding your design. It's understanding your gifts. And I love that human design has been brought into my life. And I will definitely be going more into it on the podcast and through blog posts. And I have some really fun and exciting things launching. So stay tuned. Get on the newsletter. And here's the deal, you guys, that I don't believe that human design is the end all everything. I believe that it can be used as a tool, just like it was used in my life, to help you go within, to help you trust yourself. And when you start trusting yourself, how empowering would you feel? Like, how empowered would you feel? How lit up would you be when you're like, yeah, I trust the decisions that I need to move forward with. Yeah, I don't need to go search out and ask anyone about everything that I'm doing, scrapping, like, you're drowning, you're in a lake. I'm pretending like I'm swimming right now. I wish you could see me, but you're, that drowning feeling where you're just trying to keep your head above water. You're like, help, what should I do? What should I do? And if you were to just freaking settle down for a moment and take a deep breath and like go under, allow yourself to rest, come back up with more energy, and calm the F down, go within, you're going to get so much more clarity, because everyone is always going to have their opinions. There are like a million social media gurus out there telling you how they were successful, and half of them contradict themselves, like, not themselves but each other. Like, don't do this person's like, yeah, but do this, right? It's so confusing. We live in a world that is so noisy and so loud, and the voices inside your head start to get, it's like pure chaos. Like, everyone's in opinions. Oh, what are we doing? You know, you get stuck. You're like, I don't even know what direction to go because there's so much input. And when you can start to say, enough's enough. How am I designed? Who am I? What gifts do I have? How do I listen to my own authority, which is your intuition within human design? And you start to quiet that down and you go inward. The trust builds. And when the trust builds, you feel like you're like, I'm taking responsibility for my life. I'm taking my power back. I'm not giving that to all of you guys, deciding what to do for my life, my kids, my business, my relationships. No, that's you. And you were designed so perfectly that you have that within you. You just have to know, and you have to then turn around and believe it. Because for me, it's like I knew, but I didn't trust it because, you know, for me, I thought that was from the devil. Like, why would God speak to me? Or why would that voice inside me speak to me? Who am I to have an inner guidance? But that's how we were designed, and I truly believe it. It's changed my life, and so I'm here to change your life. I'm excited. I'm excited to go along the journey with you. I'm so grateful that you are here. The only way that I can describe it is that I am like high on life. Like high on life. Like nothing, not that nothing can touch me, but I'm like, this is such a weird feeling. Because for someone who has been so depressed, for someone who has felt exhausted and tired and like their body is shutting down, someone who has seen the stress from the inside, that emotional stress turn into an actual physical issue with my body, I just feel so high on life and like so excited. And I realize that I'm not special. This can be you too. Like, you can literally lay your head on your bed and be very excited for the next morning. Like, I can't wait to see what life brings tomorrow. Knowing that we still live in a world where shit happens, but you're excited. You are high on life. You are like ready to fully experience life and go through it. And so you're excited to lay your head on the bed, and almost hard to sleep because you're like a kid in the candy store, like Christmas the next day. That's wild, because not long ago, I was laying my head down and I would be up for hours with so much anxiety happening inside my body that I couldn't sleep. I was not sleeping. And let me tell you, when people do not get sleep when they need sleep, that can be very dangerous. I'm going to be creating something, a vision that was given to me years ago, or a couple years ago, that I am now seeing a clarity for, and that is called Arise and Radiate. And so I'm going to be launching that as well, to like help you understand how important it is to sleep, how important it is to create routine that works for you. But you can't really always do that until you actually start listening to yourself, and that's where the human design part comes in first. And I actually kind of lost track where I was going with that, because I was super excited and then my brain was like, oh, squirrel. But I know what it feels like to not get sleep. I know what it feels like, that alone. And as I am a certified mental wellness coach. So as I took that course and really dove into it, and understanding what the lack of sleep does for your body is like truly detrimental. Like, when you're not sleeping, and the amount of stress and cortisol and things that start happening within your body, it's freaking dangerous. This is why things go south real fast. It's not healthy. It's not good for your body. But I truly believe that a lot of that stems from not trusting yourself. And so your body carries around a lot of stress because it's telling you one thing. You're wanting to go one direction, but you're also listening to everyone else's opinions and what to do with your life. And so you're at war with yourself. So of course you're going to have stress. Of course you're going to have anxiety. Of course you're going to feel overwhelmed. Of course you're going to be freaking exhausted 24/7. And you're literally feeling like you're getting stretched and pulled in two different directions. You're like, literally, what am I here for? So this is a glimpse, I guess. My heart was I'm just learning to roll with the punches and just get started. Because if I don't, I'll never start because I'll want things to be perfect. But I am here to show up. I am here to share what is put on my heart and to use my voice and to move past my own fears. In doing this, you guys, I am not perfect. Using my voice has been something, I'm just going to share this with you. Using my voice has been something that I've struggled with. It has been my own fear, my own thing that I have had to work through. I am currently in a 10-month program as of like close to when I launch this. It could be a totally different, it's so weird to think like you could find me in a year from now. But I am currently in a 10-month coaching certification because when Her Life Out Loud was given to me, this whole idea of becoming a life coach was also given to me, and I, because of fear, put it off. Was it fear, or was it just that I had to walk through life to get to where I'm at, and here I am launching Her Life Out Loud as I am learning to become a life coach, and it is, I mean, you look at it, you're like, that's funny. Okay, I see you. Okay, I see you. Let's go. But the other day we're practicing and we're learning all the tools, and I was actually going to lead my first meditation with a group of women that I've been, now alongside for quite a while. And our coach is amazing because she's like, it's okay to be nervous. It's okay. And it's weird because for someone who can talk a lot, I shut down, and not that I shut down, I was very excited, but I physically felt like I had an orange in my throat. And so I told her that. I said, I I kept going, like, like I can't breathe, I can't swallow. And oh my gosh, I think I just had an aha moment. Anyways, so I physically felt like I could not swallow, that I was having a hard time breathing. But the crazy thing is, I wasn't having this pump of adrenaline. It physically felt like I had swallowed an orange and it got stuck. And so we did a couple like breathing techniques to like really open up the throat, and that helped. Anyways, I went into the meditation and it was like something unlocked inside of me, just overcoming that and also being able to lead a meditation on purpose. And I was like, yes. But so as I am choosing to step into the Her Life Out Loud podcast, hi baby. This is me real time. Hi. Emery just came into the closet. As I am choosing to record this, or as I am inspired to record the Her Life Out Loud podcast to start over with it, I want you to know that I am also still very much working through my own things. And one of those things, like I said, was using my voice. It's new for me. And using it in a way that is sharing my true self, not necessarily because I think what I should say, right? Oh, I'm scared to say it because in the church, I don't want to hurt people. I don't want to like make someone stumble. And so for so long that voice, and I'm still not sure where I stand with everything, but this idea of like the throat chakra, I feel like it's very true. Like we're energy beings, there's energy centers, like it's all there, but that throat has always been so shut down. And so many times I'd go to speak and it physically felt like there was something in it. And just to give you like that aha moment that I had while I was recording, I got married, and within within a few weeks of me getting married, my throat started shutting down. I was in and out of the hospital, and they did a spinal tap on me. I could no longer swallow. The craziest stuff happened. And like in one way, they're like, we don't know what happened. Like we think that maybe something was going on with your thyroid. I was on tons of steroids, just trying to help with the inflammation in my body. And then like a week or two later, after an insane hospital visit and my spinal patch leaking, or my spinal thing leaking, had to get a blood patch, all of this stuff. I found out I'm pregnant with Parker on steroids that are not great. So I just had that like that realization that that area of my throat has always been something that physically, spiritually, whatever, has always been an issue. So anyways, with that, I'm so excited here. I'm so grateful for you, and gosh, I can't wait to see where we grow together and where we go with the Her Life Out Loud podcast and the community. I hope you get on my Her Life Out Loud newsletter. That's kind of just this area that I feel like we can have deeper conversations, and probably some of it will be even deeper from the podcast. But I just have this vision of getting offline and sharing deeper conversations, sharing things that I love and little tidbits and gold nuggets, and that we become inbox besties, and besties share, you know, the life lessons that they're learning, and I like to call them gold nuggets. So I think we'll probably have some episodes on here that are like the gold nuggets, and it's just what I have learned from life in hopes that it helps you to move through life a little quicker instead of having to go through the full thing. And so I'm really excited about that. And honestly, that we're just showing up and we're doing the damn thing, and we are doing life together. There is a community, and it sometimes that feels weird, like, oh, I have my podcast community, or we're building community online. But honestly, that is where we truly find some of our people to do life with. And how crazy is it that we live in a world that we can reach people with a touch of a button across oceans and thousands of miles. It's fascinating to me. So thank you. I can't wait for you to step into who you are so you can create a life you love and truly live your life out loud.